up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys had a good long weekend. Hope you guys are feeling all right. Ready for this kind of short week, I guess. A little bit of a short week coming into. So we'll see how market wants to handle everything. But yeah, it's crazy. We had a crazy storm on Saturday. So Saturday or Sunday actually, so we lost power for a little bit. I was teaching the mentor group, meeting with them on Monday. I was like, I don't know, we lost like power an hour before the group, so we are just like, I don't know. It held up fine, and then yeah, schools were closing and then reopening. It was wild times. But everything's all good, so I hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone's got power if you're in anywhere close to this region. But we got Amy in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andy. Andy, good morning. We got Bill, Brad, Cindy, Frank, Keith, Kelly. We got Lauren in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Lucian, Marius, Martina, Rick, T, Flo. We got Tim in the house. Good morning to you. Oh my peeps on YouTube land. Good morning to you. We got Clarice, Mustafa, Matthews in the house. Sanjay, good morning to you. We got Richard, Ben, all my lurkers in the background. That just not gonna say anything the whole time. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button, and yeah, we got markets rallying. We got all-time highs at the open. Kind of an interesting setup. I don't know what we do from here. We don't have any real targets to go to above us because there's nothing we're in uncharted territory at this point. We have had a good 2 day run, and then Friday was a little bit of a retest candle, a little bit of indecision. I'd be curious to see if we get some kind of selling that comes in. If we do, um, again, we were talking about the highs of this wick from January 24th, and it didn't really matter. It mattered on Friday, and we're above all that. So I can see some bull stepping in. I think I'd want to see a pullback first. I'm not sure where I want that pullback to come into. If we get into Friday's volume zone, that's 610.03. I think that would be a really nice support if we could get there. Um, but I would say high wave indecision. I've got some indecisions. It's either we open and just take off from here, or we do get the pullback. I'd rather see the pullback, but maybe we get a little bit of a indecision, even on a longer time frame, about a 15-minute chart, and then look to make a move after that. But really good play for Bulls. So Bulls hanging in there very, very strong. We got Qs. Same thing. This one has been a little bit of struggle to kind of start breaking out of the all-time highs as SPY was getting closer and closer. This one was lagging a little bit, but same reaction on Qs. Nice little move up higher on this one. This one you do have. I'm not really going to count those 2 days just because they're inside day, but technically green. Otherwise, you got 1, 2, 3 strong days higher. Every single person who's been in this one, maybe just the sideways chop from the last 2 months, 2.5 months of struggle. This could give opportunity for people to that were bullish and frustrated to maybe get out of their plays and just lock some gains just in case, shave a couple shares off. So maybe we get that retest after you had 3 strong days, nice little breakout. If you do, I think I'd be looking for on the Qs somewhere around this 538.79 zone for some kind of pullback. If that cannot hold, then I think Fridays should be the stronger one, which would be 537.61. Obviously, the challenge with that is now you have to recapture, break out again from this 538.79 zone. So we'll see how it wants to play out. We'll see how this thing wants to move. Other than that, it's just kind of hanging out for now. So we'll see which direction we want to move. Obviously, Bulls, huge advantage to them. Even TTM squeeze, I got this thing kind of with momentum starting to come back in, and we're in a squeeze. I'd stay bullish. I'd stay bullish. If you're gonna take anything short, you are probably braver than I am. We'll put it that way. But I think dips are going to be looked to get bought, and we just have to wait for the kind of appropriate levels for some of those. Mo says STZ is gap and going after Buffett bought. Yeah, Buffett bought a lot of Constellation. So that is probably one to watch. It is definitely not at the highs. Pretty fair, decent pricing. We're at some long-term holding spots too. So interesting spot for Buff to come in. This is a big move already. considering Constellation Brands, unless you're like in this day here, that's a earnings gap and go in the I guess in the right direction. If you're a bear, wrong if you're a bull, but uh yeah, good move. I think you'll probably have some more eyeballs on this one today. Again, I would be a little concerned on a few things on this one. One is the news has already come out. Buffett did buy just an absolute ton. Bo's telling me 1.2 billion shares. Is that already priced in? Maybe. Probably if this thing could get a little pullback, it'd be better. But I think this is going to be I don't know if this one fades that much, but I would be looking at maybe this thing could come into like this 173 and just die, just start trading sideways. Then you will also have that 20 EMA coming in here too. But otherwise, it is a good gap and go. I'd just be concerned about that resistance. If you can get above it, again, you have that 20 to watch out for. And that almost lines up with this previous VPOC from, what is this, December? Not December, February 3rd. And that would take you into like a 176.39. I think that's where we probably max out for today. And almost want to see. I think Buffett's last call was Oxy too, and that one's kind of dying. So, uh, but I think you see something like this over the next couple days, where just still chop sideways, and then if it's going to get the break into this 185 high 180 zone, I think you need a pullback on the daily first. But I think for today, one to watch. I would just be concerned about this little decent resistance unless we open up. We still have 21 more minutes until this bell rings, so that I don't know. If you can get above there, that might give you your next kind of shot. A little extra strength on that one. So we'll see. Check out Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Bitcoin is still not able to break out of this very strong consolidation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days sideways chop. It is green for today, which is good, but we are right into that resistance. So if we can start recapturing this 96, 285, I'm not sure if today is the day where we really break out, but that would be a good sign, at least for the bulls. Otherwise, probably gets held here a little bit. I would expect right where we're at now to be some resistance, a little more chop, and then if it's going to break out, the next immediate spot is not 96,955. That would be decent. We've been there before yesterday, so we've already retested that. I think that can break through, and then your bigger targets on this one, big resistance somewhere around this 97,668. So otherwise, that's just trading sideways, still in this chop, and one of these days this thing is going to break out, and the question is up or down. If it's just following the markets, it's got a good opportunity for maybe a little bit move to the higher side. We'll see. If as long as SPY stays up there, as long as it stays up there. DAHC currency says lurker. All right, as long as you hit that like and subscribe button, it's all good. Yep, we got SMCI. That one is on the move after hours. I don't know. There was news. I think it was actually related to. I don't know if anybody saw Grok 3 come out, which is Elon's AI. So he has his newer version yesterday. From what I was reading, is they're using super micro computers, which would be a decent account for him, a decent customer for SMCI. But good move on this one. Nice gap up. Again, it is a retest gap. I don't know that we want to see this thing actually retest though. Not to some extent we do. The real spot would be 46.44. I think that would be a little iffy if you could get down there. It's maybe that would be a decent spot for maybe a swing trade. For a day trade, I'd want to see that strength just kind of remain out there. I don't want to see this thing fully retest yesterday. But a little bit of a retest gap, maybe into 49.25. The other interesting thing on this one is you do have this would have been the next resistance, and we're above all of this too. Still probably undervalued. We have a lot of room to the high side. I think I'm going to keep this one relatively high on the list. Target would be 54.92. As long as we can stay above this, and we have one resistance 51.73. I don't know how strong of a resistance that's going to be. But already, again, big move on this one. It is technically a retest gap. Would love to play with it when it's at 49.21. But I think if it can hold here, we get a high wave candle on this one. You do have a lot of room to the higher side on this, and that might give us a decent setup for a morning move. So let's get that one a little bit higher on the list. Let's see. There we go. I'm trying to build out a new little indicator. I was kind of messing around. It's not quite there yet. I almost had it. I had it good, but the problem was the indicator took longer than 40 seconds to calculate, and then therefore, uh, back to here, get this up. TradingView says no, it's got to be a quicker indicator. So I'm working on it, and I keep in mind I am a big dummy when it comes to computers, so it's going to take me a minute. I got pretty far on it actually, so we'll see. It's all around the VPOX. So if I could get that thing to run pretty good, I'd be excited. All right, we got ANET. ANET, we got Arista Networks. That would be a good gap and go. Again, we have resistance not too far away from us at 110.37. If we could break that, the next immediate move, which we've already retested once, I think we get through this again, but that would be a 111.15. And then I think our target for today would take us up to this 111.86 if we get there. So that still gives us almost $2 of room on this one. Maybe a small pullback. Look for 109.72 to hold. I'm not sure how spready this one is. I think it is tradable though. I don't think the spread is too bad on it. Yeah, right now you're only looking at about a 9-cent spread, and that's with the market not even open. I like it. All right, we'll see what happens on this one. That looks decent. Again, just one spot of concern, and we've been through that literally on Thursday. And it is a gap and go, decent volume candle. This is the next volume candle that is decent. So that 110.37 could be a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, you get through that one. I think you have room up to that 111.80 zone, 86. Decent gap and go though. I kind of like it. All right, we got CLF. Cliff. This was the previous. Looks like we could probably just set up almost that same order. But we'll delete the lines so we can keep ourselves guessing. And then we got decent last 3 days and a little bit of a bullish trend running right into resistance. $11.69 would be that next spot. This one I would like to see a pullback. So this is a bullish candle, little bit of a retrace gap. I would like this one to act a little bit more like a retest than a just gap and go. If the gap and go starts to push and we start getting closes above 11.78, then that's a decent spot to just try to at least play it back to the top here of $12, 12.19. Maybe a little bit more for a breakout if it could happen today, but that would be 12.35. I think is the stretch target. This thing could get a little pullback first, though. I'd be looking for $11.54. It does look good. You got your bullish engulfing candle, perfect retest from Friday into Thursday, and I think we get continuation, but a small pullback first would just get me a better risk reward, just in case we cannot break through that previous resistance. Qualcomm, one of my arch nemesises, maybe, I don't know. We got Qualcomm that is has made its way back into this chop, which we've been into for a while. I have a previous target for some reason up at 181.45. Which we've actually would have hit on that swing. But decent. We're above good volume zone, so we had to recapture this 169.63. That has happened. We've had a few green days in a row. Looks like we're starting to break out of that last previous range. Nice little uptrend to it. Again, same thing. Friday was a little bit of a retest, but we held the previous day VPOC. And again, you're into a little resistance. If we can open up above 173.10, I think your next spot you can get to is 173.99, and that might have the ability to break through. But probably you get one pullback from there, and then the second time intraday would get you up into that zone. Also into a squeeze on this one, but volume's the wrong way. Everything else is kind of decent. Moving average is a little messed up. Um, but I don't know if we could get past this 174.08, we have a lot of room. Next immediate spot 175.86, and then all the way back to 178 for today would be probably my extended targets. It's a couple days of buying and it has been choppy. We'll get it on the list. If we get the pullback, I'd be interested, or if we start just breaking out and I can get a decent intraday setup somewhere above 174, that might be the next spot to look at. Wendy, your play that you wrote up in the mentor group looks good today too. You know which one I'm talking about. We got MU. That one is a good gap again. Big resistance on this one. This one is a little bit more of a retest gap. I'd see if this one could get a little bit higher first. See if we can get some rejections, reversal candles, something like that around 103.09. If we can, I think that would be a decent short. I don't think we get all the way back to this 99.22, which would be Friday's, unless the market starts to dip. But I don't think we get back to 99.22. I'd like to see us hold above that 200. We did all the work today, pre-market, to get above there, and I'd want to see that hold. Probably even a pullback into $100.91, I think would be a really good retest spot to try this thing long. Otherwise, you do have some room to the short side with some decent resistance right above you. So I'd probably be looking a little bit more for the short side of that if you have to play something short. Otherwise, let the retest come in. Market strong. Any shorts today is a little tough. Wendy says, which one? This one. Grab. Grab is on the move. You brought this one up. But of course, the market is going to do some dirty things. So we were looking at this one yesterday in the group, and the market was closed. It was sitting around this $4.96 zone. But really nice gap on this one. You got some decent volume coming in today as well. The next immediate target, I think, takes you to like 566. But if we could break through that, kind of those levels that we talked about, if we could get this nice gap up today, which it's doing, you might see some decent follow through on this one. But next spot, 566. And if we could break through that, we got ultimately for a swing. I think we were saying somewhere around just under $10 is a potential for a swing. So I'd continue to watch that one, Wendy. Your play on that one is holding up. Nice gap up so far. I don't know if it's too far of a gap, but you did have some resistance and interesting location at least. Not in yet. Yep. Yeah, probably on a little pullback would be interesting, but we'll see. We got MU. We looked at. We got Dell. He says Doc. I said DHDACH. I just spell it out. We got Dell is into a major resistance zone. So until you get candles that really start breaking out, I guess Friday's candle, then I would be a little more interested in playing this one continued bullish. Otherwise, this 116.87 zone, we did hit that on Friday. Maybe we get through it. I think I would want this one to retest fully. So on this one, I would have to, for a shot in a bullish direction, I need this thing to drop down back to 113.91. It's getting close to that zone. We are above that 200. Maybe we can hold that. But I'd rather almost see, and maybe this happens intraday, but maybe we get this decent break higher, get a couple candles close, retest this 116.50 zone, wherever it is, and then we look to get some kind of a break. Bigger targets on this one takes us up to roughly this 124 zone. So you have a lot of room. It looks like it's starting to, but I think your better risk reward is if you get the full on retest, let some of these bears come in, protect the zone one more time. We've been here. I think we get through it, but I don't think today would be the day. And again, watch it. If it does break through, there could be some interesting, maybe 10 EMA setups, something like that above. You want to stay above, I think, really Friday's highs. We're going to need some candles above Friday's highs. Close, pull back, and then look for your entry. But 16.99 would be the zone I want this thing to get above first. We got AMD and we got Tessie. AMD is interesting. We had this what was it, 114.48 zone we were looking for since this day, probably at the lows as potential targets. We hit it on Thursday, we rejected. We hit it on Friday, we rejected. We are making a decent uptrend, just continuously bulls trying to pile into see if you get this break above this yeah, somewhere around this 114.54 zone. So we're opening slightly above it. We're still inside day. Bulls are trying on this one. So I would think that this thing can pull back into this 113.30 zone. I think we might need that one more pullback. You got your 20 right there. We're going to need some candles to start getting above it, closing. Maybe today's the day, but I think first you want to see that path back to retest yesterday's VPOC. And then I think this is a great spot for some people to take some small gains if they held it over Friday. They bought it a little bit lower, probably targeting into this. If you get that break, yeah, I'm looking for like 119.02, which again, maybe not today. We've seen some big candles come in on A and B. It's possible. But maybe your target for today, 117.77. Still a decent move, but that is a big resistance that we have to kind of break through, and you're going to need some daily closing above that 114.54 for continuation. So just opening into a big resistance, I would watch it. I think if you get that pullback and the market still looks decent or has already pulled back, that's probably going to be your spot to attempt to go long on that one to see if you get through that resistance. What was the other one? Tesla? Tesla's been having a nice gap. Looks like pre-market. We're pulling back a little bit from where we were. I think last night we were at, I don't know if TradingView is going to show it. Yeah, pretty close. I thought we were at like 364s, looking at like 362, 360, yeah, about 362 on this one. I think last night, at least on TOS, it was up to like 364 at one point. So from the highs of where we were, we are pulling back on this one a little, but still a gap and go from Friday's close. Again, we ran into a decent support. We ran through that support. We kind of held it a little bit. The next spot we want to try to get candles to close above for that next push, and I think Tesla has the ability to do it today. But this would be 359.06. If we could get above that, we have probably right above Friday's actual candle. And then we have that 364 zone again, which we got to overnight. And then I think we got room up to like 368, 65. The high was 365 in TOS. Yeah. I remember seeing it up there. Hasn't held yet, but if we open below this, I would just not take a trade bullish quite yet. Maybe get that retest back into Tesla's a little bit of a wild beast. So maybe you could get back down to this 352.80. That's where I'd be watching. If we, as long as we're below 359.06, we start breaking 359.06. I'm gonna start looking long, see if we can get some followed carry through up to like 368.65, somewhere in that zone. So for right here, I would just let Tesla be for me. I don't want to get too aggressive on it when it does have decent room down, but the closer I could get into Tesla, like 353-ish, that's the spot where I think we could get some decent risk reward, and then even maybe a swing trade. I don't know. I kind of don't want to hold this thing overnight just because Elon is on the news every single day. So we'll see. Let's see. I'm missing a few of them. META. Meta. Meta Platforms, aka I don't know why I said that, like I never heard of this company before. Meta Platforms? Oh, you mean Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp? Yeah, that's opening right into Friday's resistance. So we'll have to see how this one holds. Obviously, momentum is, I don't know, maybe valuation might be starting to get a little stretched here on Meta. Doesn't mean the momentum looks like it's slowing down at all. And you are opening right at a pretty decent location for resistance. If we could open above 378.66, maybe look for continuation bullish. Start opening underneath it. You have a lot of room for retest into like 724.32. So I can play this one anyway, but momentum is all bullish. That's how I'd rather play this one. And I think that momentum is going to be tough to shake when the market is, or was, market's actually pulling back a little bit. Yeah, we're not at that 612, still at all-time highs though. But not bad. If momentum could carry in the market, then Meta has a good chunk of that momentum. We got Google, the Googs. It's another one. Flip a coin. This one should, I think, be a little bit more of a retest, and I think you get down to this 185.25. So I wouldn't open the gates going bullish on this one. If it does, look for resistance around 186.52. If you could break through that, then you do have a nice move up. Really good move into like 189.20. So for right now at open, I'd give it maybe 5, 10 minutes, see what happens. See if you get that pullback. The closer you get again to 185.20, I think the better risk reward you have. Otherwise, if you could start clearing this 186.52 throughout the day, that would look decent too. So we'll see on that one. We got Nvidia, Vivids. Yep, the vids are chilling for now. Big candle on the SPY, actually pulling back on my other screen. So vids, nice little gap up. Again, at this resistance, if we could open above 141.37, you might have a little bit more room to 142.66. Earnings are next Wednesday on this one, so we'll have to see how this plays out. Other than that, it should be a retest gap. That should be a decent resistance. I kind of rather like it to the short side. And every single one of these days that you had some kind of gap, you did flip, and then by some point it kind of reversed green over the last like 10 days. So I think that resistance should be a decent one. I think you have some people looking for profits there, and your buy spot would be somewhere closer or targets the downside 137.74. But I'm not sold on this one with all those green candles telling me that I want to hop in there to the bull side. The other one to look at is Baba. We only got like less than a minute, but Baba looks like it's got some continuation. There was an AI meeting where Baba was there with President Xi, and Baidu wasn't. So Baidu is actually gapping down. Baba probably a little bit more in favor with the Chinese government. At least that's what the market's telling you, and you are getting a little follow through. Again, even though it's a red candle, gap and go, I think this one's probably a fade. This one probably looks for like a 124.75. See if this could hold support. 130 is a pretty big number. Otherwise, going forward, I got 156 and a little bit of a longer term target, and then like 176. So we will see. But that morning bell is about to ring, so make sure everybody on YouTube, you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons. And again, short week, but still a lot of info coming out, so be careful. And you got a lot of time to make some